Hi, my name is Brandon and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. One of the questions that came up for me early in recovery was, how am I supposed to pray if I don't really believe in any particular religion, any particular God? It was a hurdle that I had trouble getting over. And one of the most important aspects of a lot of recovery programs, a lot of 12-step programs, is the act of prayer and the belief in a higher power. I've talked some on previous videos about a higher power and what a wide concept that can be and how differently higher powers can look from the traditional monotheistic gods that you might encounter in the Christian, Jewish, or Muslim church. But prayer is something that I think anybody can engage in and do so in a way that it feeds the spirit without compromising your personal religious or non-religious beliefs. In a sense, prayer is something that we don't have to think of as talking to a particular God. You can think of prayer as a form of pure expression to an unconditionally loving ideal. And prayer is an opportunity for you to express what's in your soul and what is in your mind and what's in your brain. All of the feelings, everything that you have, you can express that totally unfiltered. And the reason that's important is that in today's world, we do not get that opportunity that often. We don't get an opportunity to remove all filters from our thoughts, from our emotions, especially if we're people who are in a position where we're trying to recover from some sort of mental related disorder, like a substance use disorder. A lot of times we catch ourselves thinking about our thoughts and saying, should I really be thinking this? And is there another way I should approach this? And so the act of filtering ourselves becomes very natural to us. And some of the greatest descriptions of prayer that I've heard have been from people who have said, I talk to my God the same way that I would talk to a close friend, or the same way I would talk to a loving, unconditionally loving parent. That's really important because not all people have experienced that unconditional love from a parent. And so it's very important to imagine that you're talking to someone who has nothing but the best desires, nothing but the best intentions, and nothing but unconditional love for you. When I started praying, I was still trying to figure out what I had dedicated myself to finding a higher power in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, but I knew that it wouldn't be a traditional God, a traditional religious figure, and I was still trying to find what I truly believed in. And someone told me that I was experiencing a lot of fear every morning. I would wake up in the morning with just fear and dread in my heart before I even stepped foot on the ground. And I talked about this to some people, and I got some different advice that I've mentioned, like daily affirmations right when I wake up, that were helpful. But the most helpful piece of advice I got was from someone who said, before you even get out of bed, say a prayer. And I said, well, I don't believe in a particular God. I don't even know what I believe in. And this person said, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. Just say a simple prayer. And in the prayer, express what you're feeling. Talk about what you're fearful of. And then ask to have that removed. Ask for help if you need help. Ask to be helpful to others. And finally, give thanks. Express some gratitude. And so I started doing that, and pretty quickly the dread and the fear that I was feeling every morning started to lift. And it didn't go away immediately. It wasn't like some magic thing happened immediately, but that magic happened very slowly over time. And as I started to pray on a more regular basis, I started to understand that prayer is my opportunity to really center on my thoughts and really look at what are the valuable things that I want to think about in my life. And they do boil down to things like gratitude. Prayer is a time where, for instance, I pray every night before I go to bed. And no matter what has happened during that day, no matter how rotten a day it's been, I can still smile at the end of the day and thank my higher power, who I still don't fully understand, for another day alive on earth, for another day living and being able to help somebody, even in the smallest ways. Even if the only way that day that I helped someone was by opening a door for them. Being grateful for that. Being grateful for having a bed to sleep in at all. Having a pillow to put my head down on. You can find things to be grateful for in almost any position in life. And that's my time to do it. And it's a wonderful way to end the day, especially when I'm having a really bad day. It's a good reminder that there are things to be grateful for, and it's a good reminder that there are purposes more important than just my self-centered needs, my self-centered ego, that if I look out to the world around me, I can find other people, other places, other things that need my help, and I can extend my help to them, and that's something to be grateful for. All of these are the kinds of ideas that I can express in prayer. And it doesn't have to be prayer to anything. Prayer can just be a quiet reflection on these kinds of thoughts. You don't have to pray to anything in particular. You can just take time to reflect on these kinds of things. And then at the end of the day, do the same thing. Do it in the morning, do it at the end of the day, as kind of bookends to your day. A lot of people couple prayer with meditation, and I certainly do that in the morning because I think it's important to take a quiet time to be silent and just listen to yourself, listen to the world around you, and try to quiet things before moving through the day. These moments of reflection and these moments of communication with something outside of yourself that you don't even really know exists have become really important to me. And I think it's important to recognize it's not necessary to believe in any particular God or gods to have these moments. You can have these moments and just pretend you're talking to the ultimately loving, unconditionally loving caretaker. You can just pretend that you are talking to a unconditionally loving parent or grandparent or friend, or anything like that. The important thing is to take that time, and especially take that time to think about the things you can be grateful for, even in those times where you're hurting or you've had a bad day, and to express that you are willing to help others. I find that's really important because that keeps me centered and keeps me from getting too caught up in my own stuff. So that's how prayer can work for people who are not religious, and I think it's worth exploring. I know that once I started exploring it, I found it to be an incredibly useful tool, not only in helping me get rid of some of the fear that was really plaguing my life in early recovery and before that, but also in just adding a layer of gratitude, peace, and serenity to my day. It really worked wonders. That's it for today. I hope you have a good one. If you do enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button below. And otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow with more.